Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football RPG. I'm Mike. That's David. We're going to take a little break from our prospect profile series and some of our long form stuff, and we're just going to give you a good old-fashioned dynasty outlook. We're going to talk about one of the hottest players in the dynasty streets, Trey Benson, the running back from the Cardinals. David, any initial thoughts on Trey Benson?
So when we look at Trey Benson, obviously what you can have thoughts on him as a prospect, but the best way to judge NFL performance is by, judging his NFL performance. Last year, he entered what seemed to be a pretty good situation with the Cardinals. James Conner was there, but he's on the older side. Are they going to start seeding some of Conner's work, keep him fresh, let Benson get some touches? Turns out, no. So last year, James Conner had 236 attempts. He played really well, made the most of his opportunities. Can't fault him for that. But it only left Benson with 63 carries on the year. He played 13 games, so it wasn't really like, oh, he missed half the season. That's why the touches weren't high. He was, by and large, healthy. They just didn't need him. By comparison, other running backs on the team, Michael Carter, very washed up guy who was day 3 capital, 35 carries. Amari Dermercado, a real human being apparently, 24 touches. And so they didn't really see him as the clear RB2. They just saw him as another body behind James Conner. And when you look at his PFF grade, which I want to go with a disclaimer, it was such a small sample, you don't want to read into it too much. 62.4. He didn't have enough steps to qualify among their leaderboards, but Mike, if he did, it would put him right between two of your favorite players in the world, Isaiah Pacheco and Devin Singletary.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't need to hear that. Can I unhear that? Is that allowed?
I just put it on mute, I guess.
Oh, God. All right. Very small sample size, so I appreciate you calling that out. I know people have thoughts about how 2024 went. We said this during the season, always a 2025 play. Let's talk about what he looked like as a prospect. I'm going to pull this straight from my write-up on him. So I had him above average burst, above average collisions, slightly above average elusiveness, below average vision and receiving. And receiving encompasses some of the pass pro things. I think that is probably why he struggled to get snaps early in the season. David, do you know, did he trend up or down for snaps? I actually don't know.
That is very interesting. Fill some time and I will look at that.
All right. So while you're looking that up, I thought he had good, reliable vision. Like he's willing to take what was there, but could get a little bit more. But he's not finding the secondary attack points. He's not finding ways to push defenders into no-win situations. It was good, not great. Great contact balance. My comp for him in the Astronauts Rookie Guide was an asteroid in space. Like he's just a dense player that moves really fast and is able to respond to contact well. He has pretty smooth jump cuts, very good burst and acceleration. He can string his moves together. He clearly has a plan when he sees somebody in space. He's not the kind of guy you can see sometimes. Let's talk about DeAndre Swift. He wants to try and run backwards and make a couple guys miss, and he's used to playing high school ball where he can just run around everybody. Then he got to the pros, that doesn't work anymore. I think Benson is very good at whatever he's doing. He's trying to move forward. Pre-NFL, that's what I thought. Now, we'll figure that out later. He can catch. He can.
There are two hands on the end of his arms.
Yes, for the most part. But the burst is exciting. The contact balance is exciting. I think James Conner is a great mentor for him. And while you're looking up at snaps things, like James Conner has a $10 million cap hit next year. I know they signed him to an extension, and that's what's doing the cap hit. We all heard extension. We all got scared. We all sold Trey Benson. There's only $2 million of guaranteed money on that. Say the Cardinals stink again. You think that front office and those coordinators are staying there?
Probably not.
You think the next regime wants to keep a 31-year-old running back with a $12 million cap hit?
Probably not.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So to answer your snap count question, so the last game he played was week 15. He played 11 snaps. The week before that, 10. The week before that, 13. 9. He actually peaked in week 2 when he had 22 snaps, and now The Cardinals won that game 41-10, so there was a lot of garbage time in there.
All right.
But if we're looking for games where I don't want to call it competitive, but all of his snaps, his next highest were 16. He did that in weeks 9 and 10. Cardinals lost those games 29-9 and 31-6. If you're looking for a game that was even remotely competitive, you're looking at single-digit snaps. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Week 13, he had 13 snaps in a 22-23 loss. But by and large, like anytime he was seeing the field, the game was over.
So it seems like the coaching staff could not trust him in the role that they'd assigned to him. I believe in the talent and think there's a world where they coach him up over the season. We see a little more usage next year. Maybe he operates truly as the 1B or even just the clear 2. Do you completely disagree and think that he's just toast?
I'm not going to say he's toast. I'm never going to give up on a day 2 guy at running back. I'll give up on day 2 wide receivers after 1 year. Running backs, I'll let them keep going because so much of their production just involves getting on the field. It's so dependent on the opportunity, and having the talent to take the most of it isn't necessarily the biggest thing. Like, it's offensive line, it's blocking, it's scheme. So much of that goes into a running back's production, especially one like Benson where he's not out there to catch passes. I'm not completely giving up on him, but I am concerned a little bit. If extending Connor isn't something you do if you loved what you saw from Benson as a rookie and just couldn't justify taking Connor off the field.
Yeah. I think what's unfortunate is that James Conner ended up missing week 18. And that could have been the Trey Benson, let's see what you got game. But I think Trey Benson was dealing something of his own too. So
yeah, he didn't play the last 3 weeks of the season. I believe that was injury, if I'm remembering correct.
Yeah. So even when we wanted to see what would Trey Benson do in this role, he was also banged up, which could be a red flag going back to his Florida State days. He did have a couple of pretty nasty injuries. It's good to see the explosion is back. It's good to see that he got the day two draft capital. Did the Arizona Cardinals know what to do with him? I don't.
Does this regime? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but let's talk about his dynasty price from our friends over at Fantasy Calc. So hilarious if you're a win now team. James Conner, RB31, valued just ahead of Trey Benson, RB36. Sure, if you want to win now, go get the guy that's actually playing and is doing a good job of it. But I'm going to call out a couple of names that are around him: Isaiah Pacheco, Tank Bigsby, and Ramondre Stevenson. Do any of those names bring you hope?
We're about to fight again. I'd take Bigsby over Benson, but the other ones, no.
Okay. Because we already talked extensively about Bigsby, so if you guys want to hear that, head over to the startup mock draft video. You can hear us talk about him for way too long. Let's talk about Pacheco and Stevenson.
Okay, so Ramondre Stevenson, they extended him last year because they physically needed to spend money, and you couldn't bribe any non-Patriot to go to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
He was bad last year, not just a fumble thing, because those are fluky. They come and go. He was bad. Age has gotten to him. He plays a very physical style of football, and frankly, he's not athletic enough to be like a Derrick Henry or someone who can do that for multiple seasons and not start slowing down. At his peak, 2022, we loved him. He was great. But his margin of error in the NFL was always incredibly slim, and he's just taken too many hits. It's over. Mike Vrabel's in town. He loves to run the football. He did most of what he did in Tennessee through Derrick Henry. I'm fully expecting the Patriots to invest in a running back pretty early in this class.
All right. So you think there's a good chance that Stevenson could end up dying. I agree full-heartedly about Isaiah Pacheco.
I know you are not a fan.
Dude, he's a day 3 running back that just broke his leg who's not that good at football. If he ran like a normal human being, no one would like him.
And I'm pretty much in the same boat. It says a lot that they dug up a coffin, pulled out Kareem Hunt's corpse, and he more or less did the same thing.
Real quick, Chief Stats 2024. Let's take a little trip down memory lane. Who had better yards per attempt, Isaiah Pacheco or Samaje Perine?
Well, the way you say that, it's Perine, but third down back yards per carry. We both I'm not a Pacheco guy, but using a third down back for yards per carry is misleading.
Okay. Who had better yards per carry on so Kareem Hunt had 200 attempts. Isaiah Pacheco had 83. Who had more yards per attempt?
Gonna say Hunt.
Hunt had 0.1 less. And yes, this is 29-year-old Kareem Hunt that they signed off of his couch.
Surprised he's only 29, honestly. Let it be
older. He took a little time off.
29 for running back is like 54 for the rest of us. But
yeah. Let's see. What is Isaiah Pacheco's career high for targets?
I'm going to say 47.
Very close. It was 49.
Ooh, wow.
So as a rookie, he had 14 targets. And this year, obviously, very, very lower sample size. It looks like they wanted to get him involved in the passing game again, but it just didn't work out. He had 16. So this is a replaceable player. Don't draft the replaceable player over someone that, seems like they could have a pathway. Is there a world where Trey Benson, they draft somebody for the Cardinals and he just disappears?
I was going to ask you that very question. I have a draft text trade value chart pulled up here. The Cardinals have a pick in each of the first 5 rounds and 4 in the top 115. It's a stacked running back class. Everything we saw from Arizona's coaching staff last year said they didn't think that Trey Benson is who they thought he was. I wouldn't be surprised. Like that first or second round, that would astonish me. But if the right guy falls to the 3rd or 4th, I don't think it's out of the question.
Do you believe any of the coach speak coming out of Arizona where they say we have 2 RB1s?
Absolutely not.
Perfect.
Actions speak a lot louder than words. They did not like Benson last year. Maybe he's got a year or 2 bounce back in him. I won't rule it out, but I'm concerned that it's such a stacked running back class. If Benson came out this year, I guarantee you he's not a 3rd round pick. So they can probably get a guy in the 4th who's better than what they thought Benson was in the 3rd. And if Benson's disappointing,
Yep. So takeaways for this, let's wrap it up. If they draft somebody,
it's over.
Be worried. I won't say it's completely over. We'll see who they take. They could take somebody that I hate, and then obviously they'll be bad. James Conner, coming off of 281 touches, already has a history of dealing with injuries. He's about to be 30 years old. There's a lot of pathways where somebody in the Arizona backfield becomes useful. I will bet on Trey Benson at his current price because I like the talent. Before the draft, after the draft, I think people will start catching on, or that bet will not pay off.
What happens on April 25th or maybe early April 26th will go a long way in saying how I feel about Benson as a handcuff. Because like you said, Connor's old. He has the injury history. Guys that get close to 300 touches generally don't do well the next year when it comes to staying healthy or just performing in general. Connor's probably extra true just due to his age. There is going to be opportunity for someone. Will that someone be Benson is the real question.
I have one last thing that I'm going to talk about with this. So if you want to wait until you're on the clock in your rookie draft, you hit where is old Trey Benson? Boom, you're on the clock. You have the 208. Perfectly aligned with Trey Benson on Fantasy Calc right now, and Rookie Fever is only going to get even higher. The odds you're getting a day 2 running back, if everything holds the way that it is, that is a clear handcuff for an offense that likes to feature their running back at the 208, not that high.
Yeah, I do that every day.
Flip that pick once you're on the clock. Enjoy the profits. Be sure to like and subscribe. David, thanks for chatting. It was fun.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
You had me.
Aww.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the Goblins get you.